Alright, hello everyone, my name is Deesh, and welcome to part 2 of the Neopets the Darkest Faerie All Bosses Speedrun Tutorial series. So last time out in part 1, we went through our setup section, getting into and out of Meridel, getting our weapon, shield, and all the potions we needed for the rest of the run, as well as money with our infinite money glitch. And this time we're leaving Meridel and going to get our, to beat our first boss and get our OP speedrun item, the Cloak of Heroes. So to start off, as I mentioned at the start of last video, I'm using the hack menu, so I'm going to give myself over 1,000 miracle speed potions. And we're starting off this time straight after getting all our potions, and we're just going to immediately leave the shop. And then we're going to go to the right out here, out to the southern part of Meridel, till we reach past this house where these rocks are, and then we're going to jump up onto this path. And then just follow it straight along for a little while. So we're going to hold to the left. There's a fork in the road here, so we go to the left. And here we got one of our first big speedrun tricks. After, of course, you know, the pretty game-breaking infinite money glitch. So, to start, you can do this setup-less, you can do this semi-setup-less, or you can do it with like the full setup. So the full setup for beginners is just to fall into the water here, and then you're gonna line up roughly towards where the wall texture over there forms kind of a corner with the dirt mound over there. So I'm gonna actually make a quick save here and turn off the hack menu just briefly to show what the visual cue actually looks like. Alright, so with the hack menu off and us lined up in the proper position, and I'll go through it again. So water warp, don't move, and then hold L2 to kind of turn camera, or turn toward to face straight on with the camera. Line up with that that spot where the wall and dirt mound texture meet across, and then you're gonna run and jump as soon as you get to the edge. So jump, and then about when Tor's feet leave the bottom of the screen there, or a little bit beforehand, you do your first buffer. So this is going to be a frame buffer method, and as I mentioned last time with the coyote jump on the Shadowglen route, you can buffer one frame by pressing triangle, obviously being already in this pause menu, pressing triangle and then immediately pressing and holding select. And it's basically just a very, very free, very, very easy frame buffer method. So one frame. And there we go. So what we're looking for is the texture for the dirt mound over here. We want it to kind of be going through the top of the R in resume game. So I'm going to buffer one more frame, and then there we go. So that should work. And then triangle and circle to attack immediately. And there we go. So semi-frame perfect jump slash to get ourselves skipping the void plane and water, and then just walking in it. So I actually believe that this trick may be not frame perfect, so I'm going to do this one more time. So this is the frame that I used last time, but there we go. So you can do another. It is at least a 2-frame window. If you want to do this a little bit faster and save a little bit of potion usage, you can actually just run straight down here, look for roughly the spot that you would stand on after after jumping into the water, and then just do the setup the same way you would before. Oh, I messed up. I think I actually buffered a frame too many. There we go. I think I must have pressed circle a bit too late there. So that is basically 100% consistent. Again, you know, it is a tiny bit riskier if you do the non-setup method, but it's still very easy. So, after getting into the water, we're just going to run straight ahead to the... Actually, real quick, I'm going to turn the hack menu back on, so I'll be right back in the water. Alright, back with the hack menu on. So, now, once we're in the water, we're just going to basically run straight ahead into this stone wall, which has no collision. And then once we get about to the edge of the water here, turn left and let this invisible wall pinch you against the edge of the water, and then jump straight out to get down here. So at this point we have a little bit of load zone manipulation, so I'm going to open up the zone map so we can get a better understanding. Basically what we want to do, and then let me zoom out a little bit. We want to avoid any of this solid green stuff, and then we're going to run around this little blue outline section here and into the yellow part. And that's going to load the area that we want in properly. So, once we've jumped down here, I'm going to head towards that kind of little, that space over there where it kind of makes a corner of no water texture with all the water texture there, so that about this way. Just run for a couple seconds and then slowly start turning left. So now this kind of gap in between cliff textures, we're looking to run up just to the right side of that a little bit. And we're looking for, on the left side of those, or the left cliff texture, there's going to be some rocks that slowly fade in. So as I run forward, there you go. So look one more time. As we get close, they start to appear. So we're going to keep running until a little after those disappear, or depending on, you know, you can run at a bunch of different angles, but essentially we're running until just after they disappear. So right here, and there we go. So this cliff here spawning means that everything is going as planned so far. And now we have all that over there spawned. So we're looking to run over there towards that big, like, square cliff. So we're gonna run this way a little bit just to make sure that we don't accidentally hit the Cogham village load zone and load in bounds, because that will be very ungood. And now what we're gonna do is come around this cliff, and then there's going to be a texture that we're going to upwarp onto. So, quick overview of the zone map again. As you can see, there's no outlines, like kind of outlined box areas in this part, so we are pretty much okay as long as we don't run right up against this cliff. We are pretty much completely okay to go as close as we want, but just do be a little bit careful. So we're gonna run around here and keep going. So what we're looking for right now, actually, so my camera was not kind of free to move up as I was running. I don't tend to look for it all the time, but a lot of runners will use that camera, if it's not like being restrictive, as a cue. But we're looking for this like upside down cone here. So if we upwarp onto the left side of it, that's bad, that's inbounds, and we don't want that. But if we come up onto this right side here, that is where we want to go. So keep running for a little bit, and now I'm going to line myself up just about with the out of bounds part there, and then just run straight forward. And there we go. We're in there. So now after a moment, this little ledge here will load in. And real quick zone map moment again. this ledge is where all that solid green off to the left is. And that will load a new area. So what we want to do is stay out of bounds, but run quickly up onto this ledge and then off to the left. So onto it right now and then off to the left. And there we go. So now I'm going to run towards that stone pillar over there, just off to the right of it. And then there we go. So that's the abandoned mines, and that's exactly what we want to, where we want to get to, is that black plane there. That means that's where the abandoned mines is spawned in. So we want to run around kind of the left side of this chimney, which is the elevator to get in mines. So it's not actually a chimney, of course, but it kind of is what it looks like. We want to run around the left side of that and then turn to the right, and we're going to hit an invisible wall. So about when there we go. So based on where my camera is right now, I'm just about in line with the left side of the tunnel here. So I'm going to start turning, and there we go. Now I've hit an invisible wall. So at this point, I'm going to start shifting slightly left and forward until I get around it. And there we go. I'm in there. So at this point, basically just run forward and then get in here. If you want, you can take a quick, sharp right and then upwarp in here further down that hallway, but that's just a micro optimization. Aside from that, you basically just want to run straight forward and to the right a little bit to load this area in. So there we go, we're in the abandoned mines. Now, for safety after the upcoming boss, if you want, you can pick up this little hammer here, and that's going to be useful for a side quest, which will be very quick to complete right after this boss. That will give us a much better suit of armor. So, you know, again, if you want to do that for safety, perfectly valid. So I'm just going to run through here really quick, kind of explaining where I'm going as I go along. Run down this hallway, take the first left, and as soon as we get to this little chimney here, which actually is more likely to be an actual chimney, we have this shadow mode here, so we want to jump into it in such a way that we pick it up without getting the text. So I'm going to try to do it. There we go. I often tend to fail that. So yeah, there we go. And now just keep running past the chimney. Keep going straight. There's no turn here. And then take the first left that we get to after this save point until we come to this room with the rail car things, the mine carts. Minecraft. Just come across the first three and then turn right at the fourth one and follow it down the tunnel. And we're going to keep going across this room, jump over it as soon as you see them, and then come until you hit this room with the turbine. And then we're going to run down and off to the left and then keep turning left and then go straight past this cluster of little steps there and then turn to the right. Hug the walls here so you don't wake up those two Draconachs, and then just keep going to the left and then follow this rail car to the left, and it turns around to the right, and we're just going to keep following these. So be careful not to fall in the lava here because it is a game over, and that's not good. So just keep running around here, and then as soon as it crosses over the next little platform, we turn left and then jump off onto here. So this is where our boss fight happens. So the strat for this is to use just 3-hit combos with shield canceling. So 1, 2, 3. And just kind of spam that pretty much. And then once we get a certain amount of damage done on him, he'll start doing an attack where he throws his axe up into the air. And we'll be able to actually get like kind of a weird glitchy 4th hit on him if we do our inputs correctly. So if we do the 3-hit combo and hold shield, but then as we're holding the shield button, also start holding the circle button briefly, we can actually get a 4th hit on him. So I'm going to try to demonstrate that real quick. Pop my power potion, and then do the text glitch. Now, word of warning, I guess not warning, but just, you know, quick PSA. This guy's a massive pushover, so even if you don't get the bot, actually, it's not even that he's a pushover, he's just broken. If you don't get, like, the perfect strats right away, you're not liable to lose a whole lot of time, because this guy is so broken that it is actually possible for him to completely deplete your health and you still don't die. And so, yeah. Don't worry too much about... I mean, I think he can kill you. And you can also, you know, fall into the lava and stuff. But generally speaking, again, you know, 3-hit combos will be good to get you to defeat this guy. There we go. I'm getting the 4th hit as I'm holding the circle button, and there we go. So now we want to run across these platforms. Quick word of warning, do not rely on auto jumps, especially for these like cliffs that have like a way sharper sheer drop off to them. And also don't rely on ledge grabs for any of the ledges except for this one and maybe the very, very last one, because these ledges here are very, very broken. And if you even get too close to the edge before you jump, it'll just eat your jump and you'll fall into the lava. So I jumped probably a little bit early on that one. But yeah, just a word of warning, and don't try to jump by holding the L2 button, because that also is even more liable to eat your jump. So text glitch, run into these little sparkles on the ground, and we have saved the mare, and we are now free to unlock the cloak. But first, we have just a tiny little bit more to do. So as we exit the elevator here, we're going to turn right, jump onto this zip line, fall off at the end of it, and then turn left, come up onto this ledge. Be sure to be a little bit careful about falling down, and also about jumping once you get onto this ledge, because you can grab onto that rope and then, you know, fall all the way down there to the, if I can get the camera to work with me, to the other ledge over there, and it's not a good time if that happens. So, oh, well, I mean, we do want to collect that moat, but I was going to jump into it so I could skip that cutscene, but, you know, that, again, that's a little micro-optimization. So then we jump down here where the ladder comes to, jump into this supernova moat. And so these are the, like, kind of, these are probably the most powerful weapons that you have, aside from, you know, potions in this run, because none of the bosses have any elemental alignment. So the supernova and nova motes have set damage multipliers no matter what elemental alignment an enemy is, which also makes them the best for bosses, because none of the bosses have any elemental alignment. So yeah, they have the most damage multiplier as well. So we're going to equip the Supernova Mote for our next boss. And we don't have to specifically do that now, but it's just, you know, we do want it equipped at some point before going into the next boss. So now we've done that water warp into the water, turn back this way, and run straight back into Cogham Village. So fall off this ledge. Now, quick word of warning, this water here, for some godforsaken reason, triggers a game over. So if you fall into this water, you'll die, and you'll go back to your last save, and if you haven't saved up until this point, then your run is dead. So just be careful of that. Also, a little movement tip for ladders. It is actually a little bit faster. You have to be careful in some instances because you can just end up... It can end up backfiring and just sending you all the way down to the bottom of the ladder, but it's actually a little faster. Excuse me, I did it wrong. It's a little faster to do a jump slash while holding forward on the ladder. So just like that. So come into here, trigger the cutscene with our text glitch. Gigatad! Pog! Get the cloak from the mayor. Now. And now we are pretty much done in Cogham. So if you, as I mentioned earlier, you can pick up the hammer in the mines for safety. And the safety strat for that, completing that, is to come here into the armor shop and talk to this guy twice. The side quest that he gives you is to fetch his hammer from the mines because the Ixies stole it from him. And you literally can just pick that up on your way. It's a very minimal time loss, and it's also a pretty small time loss to come in here and get this armor. So there you go. There's your safety. Now everything will do less damage to you. But aside from that, we would basically just leave Cogham at this point. So with all of that said and done, that is it for part 2. And I will see you guys next time for part 3. Well, we'll go over defeating Narfus and finishing off the end of Act 1. And I'm going to be back then with the normal farm clothes that Tor has. So I hope this tutorial series is being helpful. I will see you guys then.